when a girl with paralysis approaches the palace gates and makes a subtle gesture to one of the royal guards, he can't take it and steps out of his years of service posture, surprising all the tourists present. Tuesday morning in London began with a gray sky, typical of October. A long line of tourists had already formed in front of Buckingham Palace, cameras ready to capture the famous changing of the guard. Among them was the Oliveira family, from Brazil, Carlos, his wife Marina, and their 9-year-old daughter Emma. Take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, leave your like and your comment so I can return the favor with a beautiful heart. Emma was in a special wheelchair, pink and covered in unicorn stickers. She had cerebral palsy since birth, the result of complications during delivery that had deprived her brain of oxygen for a critical period. Doctors said she would never walk, that she would have difficulty speaking, that her motor abilities would be severely limited. But Emma was a fighter. At 9 years old, she could communicate with short sentences, move her arms with considerable effort, and had a smile that lit up any room. "Mom, are they real?" Emma asked, her voice slurred but understandable, pointing to the guards in their impeccable red uniforms. "They are, my daughter," Marina replied, pushing the chair closer to the railings. "They are real soldiers who protect the Queen." Carlos knelt beside Emma's chair. "See the tall hat? It's made of bearskin, and they stand there without moving for hours." Emma watched, fascinated. Her favorite guard was right in front, a tall man with a serious face. She didn't know it, but his name was David Fletcher. He was 26 years old and had served in the Royal Guard for 4 years. Before that, he had completed 2 missions in the Middle East and had a scar on his back from grenade shrapnel that almost killed him in an ambush outside Kabul. "He doesn't blink," Emma said in wonder. "It's his job," Carlos explained. "He trained a lot to be able to stay like that, so quiet and strong." Emma studied David with an intensity only children have. She saw something in him that other tourists didn't see. While most people took selfies and laughed, making jokes about the guards being robots or statues, Emma saw a real person. She saw the discipline, the effort, the purpose. "He must get tired," she said softly. Marina felt a tightness in her heart. Her daughter, who fought daily with a body that did not obey her mind, recognized physical effort in a way others could not. Emma knew what it meant to force muscles to do what you wanted. She knew about endurance and determination. The crowd grew. A group of teenagers were trying to make the guard laugh, making faces and strange dances. David did not react, eyes fixed on a distant point, posture impeccable. But internally he was aware of everything, categorizing behaviors, assessing potential threats, maintaining discipline that years of training had embedded into his bones. "Dad," Emma said suddenly, "can I get closer?" Carlos looked at Marina, who nodded. They had learned long ago not to limit Emma more than absolutely necessary. She already faced enough limits imposed by her own body. Carlos carefully pushed the chair through the crowd. Some people stepped aside with looks of pity. Others didn't even notice, too busy with their phones. But an elderly British woman smiled warmly at Emma and made room. "What a beautiful girl," she said to Marina. "Her eyes are so expressive." Marina smiled, proud. Emma's eyes really were special. Deep brown, always attentive, always observing. Because Emma couldn't move easily, she had developed an extraordinary ability to notice details others ignored. Now, only 2 meters from David Fletcher, Emma watched with total concentration. She saw a small muscle tightening in his jaw. She saw the slight tremor in his legs from standing so long. She saw sweat beginning to form on his forehead, despite the cold October air. "He is in pain," Emma said, surprised. Carlos frowned. How do you know, sweetheart? I know what it's like when your body hurts, but you have to keep going. He is like me in physical therapy. The comparison was so simple, so honest, that Carlos felt tears sting his eyes. His little daughter, who spent hours every week in painful physical therapy sessions, trying to teach stubborn muscles to obey, saw a connection with a trained soldier holding disciplined posture. Emma did something then that no one expected. With trembling effort, she lifted her right arm, the movement uneven and slow but intentional. With her hand open, she placed it over her heart. "You are strong," she said, her voice low but clear in the relative silence that had formed around them. "You can do it. I believe in you." The moment froze. David Fletcher had faced enemy fire without blinking. He had held posture through taunts from drunk tourists, through elaborate attempts to make him laugh, through hours of extreme physical discomfort. But nothing, absolutely nothing in his training had prepared him for a 9-year-old girl in a wheelchair offering encouragement with a sincerity so pure it cut through all the professional defenses he had built. Something changed in his eyes. Not much. Just a glimmer of moisture that hadn't been there moments before. His chin trembled almost imperceptibly. And then, for the first time in 4 hours of duty, he blinked. It was not an accidental break in discipline. It was a conscious choice, recognition of a moment that transcended protocol. And then David did something extraordinary, something guards rarely do. Keeping his body perfectly still, keeping posture, he moved only his eyes, lowering them to meet Emma's gaze. For 3 full seconds, they looked at each other. Trained soldier and little girl, 2 human beings who, in completely different ways, understood what it meant to continue when your body begged you to stop. Then David did more. Slowly, deliberately, without breaking posture, he blinked twice. A simple code, but Emma understood. It was, "Thank you." It was, "I see you." It was recognition of a connection words could not adequately express. Emma smiled, that radiantly lit smile that made all problems seem smaller. "You're welcome," she whispered. The crowd around them had become completely silent. Phones that were capturing videos now trembled in hands, holding them less firmly. The elderly British woman was openly crying. Even the teenagers who had been clowning minutes earlier were quiet, witnessing something they didn't fully understand but felt was important. Carlos placed his hand on Emma's shoulder, emotion tightening his throat too much to speak. Marina was crying, but they were tears of pride, of love, of gratitude for this extraordinary child who had faced unimaginable challenges with grace and compassion. "Dad," Emma said, "can I draw something for him?" "Draw what, sweetheart?" "A heart, so he knows someone understands." Marina quickly pulled a small notebook and colored pencils from the bag she always carried to keep Emma busy during long waits. With tremendous effort, Emma held the red pencil. Her fingers didn't obey well, and the pencil slipped often, but she persisted. It took 5 minutes, each line an act of will against muscles that did not cooperate. But finally, there it was, an irregular red heart, imperfect but drawn with love and determination. Under it, in shaky letters that Marina helped guide, it said, "You are hero, Emma." "Can I give it to him?" Emma asked. Carlos hesitated. "Sweetheart, he can't take it while he's working, but we can leave it near him." Emma shook her head, determined. "No, it has to be for his hands. Otherwise it doesn't count." Marina and Carlos exchanged looks. They knew that stubbornness. It was the same determination that made Emma keep trying to tie her shoes, even when she failed 20 times. It was the same persistence that made her practice words until she could pronounce them clearly. "Let's ask," Marina decided. She approached the nearby security officer, an older man with a kind expression. "Excuse me, my daughter would like to give something to the guard. Is it possible?" The officer looked at Emma, saw the wheelchair, saw the drawing in her hand, and something in his professional face softened. "Normally it isn't allowed, but let me check." He spoke into his radio discreetly, then nodded. The guard commander approved, but it has to be quick and respectful. Carlos pushed Emma's chair right in front of David. The girl extended the paper with trembling hands. "For you," she said simply, "because you are strong like I try to be." David Fletcher had faced life-or-death situations with professional calm. But looking at that imperfect drawing, at that girl who had fought her own body just to create something to encourage him, his composure finally began to crack for real. He could not take the paper. Protocol did not allow it. But the commander of the guard, watching from a distance, saw what was happening and made a decision. "Guard Fletcher," his voice came through the discreet radio David wore, "you have permission to accept a gift from the young visitor. Maintain posture, but use discretion." David slowly, very slowly, moved his right hand. The movement was minimal, only what was necessary. His gloved fingers closed gently around the paper Emma was holding. "Thank you," he said, his voice rough but clear. 2 words that broke years of professional silence, but that were absolutely necessary. Emma beamed. "You spoke." "Yes," David replied, eyes still fixed ahead but voice directed at her. "For you, I speak." The crowd that had witnessed everything erupted into spontaneous applause. It wasn't applause for a show or entertainment. It was the collective recognition of a moment of genuine humanity, of a connection that transcended rules and protocols. Emma's drawing stayed in David's hand for the rest of his shift. When he was replaced 2 hours later, he carefully folded it and placed it in the inner pocket of his uniform, right over his heart. The story could have ended there. A beautiful moment captured in videos that quickly went viral, shared by millions with captions about kindness and humanity. But what happened in the days that followed turned the isolated moment into something much bigger. The videos of the encounter between Emma and David really did spread quickly. "Girl with paralysis moves Royal Guard" was a headline on dozens of news sites. The video had been filmed by at least 15 different people, every angle capturing the purity of that moment. But it was the response that made the story truly special. 2 days after the incident, Carlos received a call at the hotel where they were staying. It was from the Buckingham Palace press office. "Mr. Oliveira," the polite female voice said, "we are contacting you about your daughter's encounter with Guard Fletcher. The palace would like to invite you for a private visit if you are interested." Carlos almost dropped the phone. "A private visit? To the palace?" "Yes, sir. Guard Fletcher requested it personally, and given the extraordinary nature of the moment, it was approved. Your daughter touched many people with her gesture of kindness." When Carlos told Emma, she didn't fully understand the magnitude. For her, it was simple. "I'm going to see my friend David?" "Yes, sweetheart. You're going to see the soldier." "I need to bring a better gift," Emma decided immediately. "That drawing was ugly." "Emma," Marina knelt beside the chair, "that drawing was perfect. It came from your heart." "But I can do better now. I had more time to practice." And Emma spent the next 24 hours working on a new drawing. This time, Marina helped hold the paper steady, while Emma slowly created the image of a guard next to a girl in a wheelchair. Between them, she drew a big heart. The lines were uneven, the proportions strange, but the intention was clear and moving. Under the image, she wrote with Marina's help, "Strong friends, Emma and David." On the day of the visit, the palace staff were extraordinarily accommodating. They ensured that all spaces were accessible for Emma's wheelchair, prepared a special route that avoided stairs, and treated the Oliveira family with a dignity and respect that Marina and Carlos would never forget. David Fletcher met them in a private room, now in a regular duty uniform, without the tall ceremonial hat. He looked younger, more human, but still carried that impeccable military posture. When he saw Emma, he smiled, the expression transforming his serious face into something warm and genuine. "Emma," he said, kneeling to be at her level, "it's very nice to meet you properly." "Hi, David," Emma said, her smile enormous. "Are you okay? Do your legs not hurt anymore?" David laughed, a genuine sound of joy. "They're better, thank you for asking. And your legs, how are they?" "They never work very well," Emma replied, with the casual honesty only children have. "But it's okay. I make them work their way." "That is very wise," David said seriously. "Work with what you have, not against it. It's a lesson many adults never learn." Emma held out the new drawing. "I made another one. This one is better." David took it carefully, studying each uneven line, each color chosen. "Emma, this is the best gift I have ever received. Can I keep this one too?" "You kept the first one?" Emma asked, surprised and delighted. "I keep it here." David touched his chest, over his heart. "Always. When training is hard or when I feel tired, I think of your drawing. I think of you working so hard to make it. And it reminds me why I keep going." Emma thought about that. "Why do you keep going?" David considered the question with the seriousness it deserved. "Because serving means something. It means protecting people, representing something bigger than myself. Just like you keep going with physical therapy even when it hurts, because it means progress, growth, not giving up." "It's the same!" Emma exclaimed. "We both don't give up." "Exactly," David agreed. "We are both fighters." Carlos cleared his throat, making it hard to speak. "Guard Fletcher, David. I can't express what this meeting means to our family. Emma faces many challenges, and to see someone like you recognize her strength." "Mr. Oliveira," David interrupted gently, "I am the one who should thank you. Emma reminded me of something important I was forgetting. Discipline and protocol are important, but humanity and connection are more important." She saw through the uniform to the person inside. How many adults do that? Marina was crying silently, but they were happy tears. Seeing her daughter treated not with pity but with genuine respect and admiration was a rare and precious gift. "Emma," David said, "may I show you something?" He pulled from his pocket a small military badge, metal with the Royal Guard crest. "This is a special badge. Only guards who completed missions on the battlefield receive it. I would like you to have it." Emma looked at the badge, then at David. "But it's yours. You earned it. And now I am giving it to you, because you are also a soldier, Emma. You fight your battles every day, and you do it with courage and kindness. That deserves recognition." He carefully pinned the badge onto Emma's blouse. "Now you are an honorary member of the Royal Guard." Emma touched the badge with trembling fingers, tears running down her face. "Really?" "Really," David confirmed. What happened next was spontaneous and moving. David, still kneeling, opened his arms, offering a hug. Emma, with tremendous effort, leaned her body forward in the chair, using every gram of muscle control she possessed. When they hugged, there was nothing of spectacle or performance. It was simply two human beings recognizing in one another a kind of strength that goes beyond muscle or training, strength of spirit that persists when the body wants to quit. The palace staff present, professionals trained to maintain composure, could not hold back tears. An official photographer captured the moment, an image that would later be used in a charity campaign for children with special needs. But in that moment, in that room, it wasn't about publicity or image. It was about genuine human connection. When they finally separated, David said, "Emma, may I ask a question?" "Yes." "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Emma didn't hesitate. "A physical therapist, to help other kids like me, to show them they can be strong." David nodded seriously. "You will be great at that, because you understand. And sometimes understanding is more important than any technique." Before they said goodbye, David gave Emma his personal email address. "Write to me. Tell me how physical therapy is going. Share your victories, even the small ones. I want to know." "You will reply?" Emma asked. "Always," David promised. "We are friends now, and friends support each other." The friendship between David Fletcher and Emma Oliveira grew in a way no one expected. Emails became constant. Emma wrote about physical therapy, about small victories like being able to hold a spoon more steadily or say complex sentences without getting stuck. David replied with encouragement, sometimes sharing his own struggles with physical training or moments of doubt. "Today I managed to walk 3 steps with a walker," Emma wrote one day. "Mom cried. Dad filmed. I'm tired but happy." 3 steps are 3 victories, David replied. "Every step you take is proof of your strength. I'm proud of you, friend." But the correspondence also revealed something deeper. David began to open up about his own struggles in a way he rarely did with anyone. "Today I had a session with a therapist about PTSD," he wrote once. "I still have nightmares about the ambush in Kabul. Sometimes I wake up in panic, thinking I'm still there. Your physical therapist helps you process physical pain. My therapist helps me process emotional pain. We are the same in that too, both working to heal." Emma, with Marina's help, replied, "Nightmares are scary. I have them sometimes too. Mom tells me it's okay to be afraid, but it's not okay to give up. You won't give up. I know that. You are too strong." The correspondence continued for months. When Emma managed to stand alone for 10 seconds, David sent a video of himself and other guards applauding. When David completed the milestone of 5 years of service, Emma sent a celebratory drawing. But the relationship went beyond messages. 6 months after the first meeting, David used his vacation to visit Brazil. He wanted to see Emma in her natural environment, understand her daily life better. The visit was a revelation for both. David went to Emma's physical therapy session. He watched as she worked through painful exercises, while the therapist gently but firmly pushed her beyond her comfort zone. He saw tears running down her face as she forced stubborn muscles to obey. He saw determination that rivaled anything he had witnessed on the battlefield. "She is one of my bravest patients," the physical therapist said to David. "Most children need to be convinced to keep going. Emma needs to be convinced to stop. She always wants to do one more exercise, always wants to try one more time." After the session, when Emma was exhausted, David sat beside her. "You embarrass me," he said softly. Emma looked at him, confused. "Why?" "Because I complain when training is hard, when we have to run 20 kilometers or do 100 push-ups. But our bodies work. Our muscles respond. You fight against a body that doesn't cooperate and you never give up. That is courage beyond anything I have ever witnessed." "It's not courage," Emma said simply. "It's just what has to be done. Like you standing still at the palace. It's not courage, it's just your job." David shook his head, smiling. "Emma, That is exactly courage. Doing what has to be done even when it's hard. You teach me more than I could ever teach you. During the visit, David also spent time with Carlos and Marina. They shared stories about Emma's early years, about doctors who said she would never achieve anything, about sleepless nights and days of frustration, but also about victories, about small miracles, about how Emma had transformed their lives. "She taught me what really matters," Marina said. "Before she was born, I worried about such small things. Status, appearances, material things. Emma showed me that the only thing that matters is love, persistence, and keeping trying even when the world says it's impossible." David nodded, understanding deeply. "In the Army, I learned about mission, about completing the objective no matter what. But Emma taught me that sometimes mission isn't about a big victory. Sometimes it's about getting up every day and giving your best, even when best changes from day to day." On the last day of the visit, Emma made a special presentation. With enormous effort and months of practice, she had prepared a small speech. Standing with the support of a walker, trembling with effort but determined, she spoke. "David, you gave me gift. You saw me. You didn't see broken girl, but strong girl. That changed how I see myself. Now I am soldier, like you. I fight every day, and I don't give up, because you believe in me." She managed to stay standing for the whole speech. 23 seconds of tremendous effort. When she finished and sat back in the chair again, she was crying from effort, but smiling in triumph. David could not hold back tears. "Emma, you are a hero. My hero." Before returning to England, David made promises. "I will come back. Every year on my vacation, I will visit you. I will see your progress. And when you can walk without a walker, we will celebrate together." "Promise?" Emma held out her pinky, the universal gesture of childhood commitment. David hooked his pinky with hers. "Promise." The impact of the friendship between David and Emma spread far beyond the two of them. The story had captured public imagination in a way few predicted. But more important than viral fame was the real change it was creating. The hospital where Emma did physical therapy began receiving donations. People who saw the story wanted to help other children like Emma. New equipment was purchased. More therapists were hired. The waiting list that used to be months was reduced to weeks. "It's because of you," the hospital director told Emma during a visit. "You showed the world that children with special needs don't need pity. They need resources, support, and recognition of their strength. You changed the whole conversation." David also saw impact in his work. The Royal Guard began a new program inviting children with special needs for special visits. The Emma program, as it was named, allowed children facing physical or mental challenges to meet guards, learn about service, and share their own stories of courage. "Every child I meet," David said in an interview, "reminds me of Emma. Reminds me that strength comes in different forms. A soldier who stands at attention under scorching sun shows strength. But so does the child who fights to tie their own shoes. Both are refusing to give up." 1 year after the first meeting, Emma reached an impossible milestone. After a particularly intense physical therapy session and years of tireless work, she managed to walk 10 steps without a walker. Only light support from the therapist beside her. 10 steps doctors said would never happen. Carlos filmed it, tears running down his face. Marina was screaming with joy, and Emma, after completing the 10th step, looked at the camera and said, "For David, I did it." The video was sent immediately. David was on duty when he received it, and for the second time in his career, he broke protocol. Not much, just the moment of looking at the phone his colleague discreetly showed him, the moment of seeing Emma walking, the moment of wiping tears he could not stop. His commander, who had seen everything, simply placed a hand on his shoulder. "Go, take 5 minutes. This is the most important." David called Emma immediately. "You did it! Emma, you walked!" 10 steps! Emma shouted, euphoric. 10 whole steps! You are incredible. You are an inspiration. I am so proud of you. When are you coming to visit? I want to show you in person. In 3 months, David promised, and we will walk together. We will take the walk you worked so hard to achieve. And 3 months later, they did exactly that. David returned to Brazil, and in a park near Emma's home, he walked beside her. She used a walker for support, but she was walking, moving legs doctors said would never work. 10 steps became 100, she said proudly, and 100 will become 1,000. No doubt, David agreed. You prove everyone wrong, Emma. Every day. They walked to a bench where they sat. Emma was exhausted but radiant. David, can I ask something? Always. Why am I so special to you? There are many children in the world. David thought carefully about the answer. Emma, you found me at a time when I needed you. I was so focused on being a perfect soldier, on keeping perfect discipline, that I was forgetting to be human. I was forgetting that the whole point of serving is to connect with people, protect humanity, not just follow rules. He paused. You, with your small heart and simple gesture, reminded me of that. Reminded me why I wear the uniform. Not to be a statue, to be a symbol of something bigger. And you showed me that true strength is not about never faltering. It's about continuing even when you falter. We helped each other, Emma said. You showed me I'm strong. I showed you it's okay to be human. Exactly. They sat in comfortable silence, watching other children playing in the park. Some ran, some jumped, some were in wheelchairs like Emma had been before. All were alive, all were trying, all had their own battles. David, Emma said, when I grow up and become a physical therapist, I'll have a photo of you on the wall, to show kids that strong doesn't mean perfect, it means not giving up. And I'll have your drawing on my wall, David replied, to remind me that kindness and courage come in forms we don't expect. Emma and David's story continued inspiring millions. Videos of them walking together in the park went viral. The Emma program at the Palace expanded to include dozens of children every month. Charity campaigns raised millions for physical therapy equipment and research. But for the two at the center of it all, the real importance was the friendship they had built. A friendship based on mutual respect, on recognizing different strengths, on understanding that we all fight battles others don't see. 5 years after the first meeting, Emma, now 14, traveled back to London. She walked with a cane now, not perfectly but independently, and she was there for a special event. David was receiving a commendation for his work with the Emma program and for years of distinguished service. The ceremony was at Buckingham Palace, formal and traditional. But when it came time for David to receive the medal, he asked for something not traditional. I would like a young friend of mine to join me, he said. Emma Oliveira, who taught me more about courage than any battlefield. Emma walked up to him, each step deliberate but confident. The crowd watched in respectful silence. When she reached David's side, he knelt to be at her height. This medal is as much yours as it is mine, he said, because you inspired me to be a better soldier, a better person. Emma smiled, that smile that lit up any room. We inspired each other. That's how friendship works. After the ceremony, reporters wanted interviews. They wanted headlines about a miracle girl and a heroic soldier. But Emma and David avoided it, preferring to spend time together, walking through the palace gardens, talking about life, about dreams, about the future. You still want to be a physical therapist? David asked. Yes. I start university next year. It's a special program for people with disabilities who want to work in the field. I'll help kids like I used to be." "Like you are," David corrected. "You're still that person, just a version who walked more steps." Emma laughed. "True. And you? Still going to be a guard?" "2 more years. Then I will train new guards. Teach not only protocol but also humanity. Thanks to you." "Thanks to us," Emma corrected. They found a quiet bench, far from cameras and attention. For a moment, they were just 2 people who had found in each other something precious: genuine recognition, true friendship, and a constant reminder that strength comes in infinite forms. "David," Emma said softly, "thank you for seeing me, for believing in me, for being my friend." "Emma," David replied, "thank you for reminding me to be human, for showing that the most important moments are when we choose connection over protocol, for being my inspiration." They hugged, not for the last time, but for one of many times to come. Because their friendship was not about a viral moment or an inspiring headline. It was about 2 people who, against all odds, found in each other exactly what they needed, exactly when they needed it. And that, more than any medal or public recognition, was a true victory. And you? Have you ever been touched by a simple act of kindness that changed your perspective? If this story touched your heart, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories like this. If you made it this far, comment the word "Good Guard" so I can leave a beautiful heart and tell me, have you ever witnessed or experienced an act of kindness that changed your perspective on life and relationships? Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our next Throne stories.